we just want to be very clear that we are in a place of mutual respect, and we are in a place where we are all mutually evolving and learning and growing, and loving. We are learning all the time how to better love ourselves, how to better love each other. Hello, Lori dear. We are indeed here. Xanadu and the Four Collectives, the Arcturians, the Pleiadians, the Council of Nine, and the Council of Light. We are very thankful and grateful to be here once again with Lucas. And we are very thankful to be able to be coming forward in this way, in this manner, which at this juncture is within a video. So we are happy to be here. We are looking forward to this moment, as we can say, this moment that we are in. We are looking forward to being able to share some new and exciting news from our perspective on this side of things. We would like to say also from Lori and Lucas, but we're not exactly sure if Lori is thinking it's exciting. It's a little bit new for her, though we on this side of things are feeling pretty good about ourselves, and that we have just created a new way for Lori dear here to channel with us. We have indeed created a new means of channeling. It is somewhat less conscious. It is a little bit more further in a trance, you could say. She is not in a trance that you might think would be where you're going to see Xanadu come through in a physicality, let's say. We are right now in that place. It is just somewhat of a less conscious channel. And the reason we have done this is because we wanted to bring forth some information that was making Lori dear here, and we say this with great love and respect. The information we wanted to bring through was making her a little bit uncomfortable, and we were having a challenging time in being able to channel the information. And we did not want Lori dear here to be, can we say, upset or just uncomfortable. We wanted her to be as comfortable as she could be, and we wanted to bring forth new information that we thought would be very helpful to humanity at this time. We would like to say that this manner of channeling is just slightly deeper. Lori is still conscious, and so we would maybe call it a deeper conscious channel that Lori dear is right now within. She is in a place where we would like to say that she can still hear what we're saying. She's still with us consciously, though she is not as interested in critically thinking about what we're saying. And that we don't mean to say that in a way that sounds like we don't want her thoughts or her ideas. It's just that she's more in a more relaxed place. She's in a place of mind and of heart where she's just a little bit more relaxed. And we can get her viewpoint about this in a little bit. Though we just wanted to say that this is indeed happening, and for you who are watching this, this will not probably seem any different to you. It's not, it doesn't seem, and Lori can speak for herself, but we know that she's been talking to us about this, and it doesn't seem very different for her. Indeed, she's able to just begin as she was before, and it's just slightly deeper. Now, we would like to say that we had a preparatory time where she was, we did ask her, and she did want to be involved in meditations as we had done previously to begin the conscious channel. So that lasted about 2 weeks, and it was very successful. It wasn't any more difficult or challenging than the first time around with the conscious channel, though we have been preparing a way of allowing Lori dear to be in a slight deeper place when she's channeling with us, so that she is able to feel more comfortable. So the reason why we are sharing this with you all is not because you're going to experience any difference from your perspective. And from Lori dear's perspective, she is experiencing a subtly different experience. Though we wanted to bring this up as we wanted you all to be aware that there's information that we would like to bring through, and we are looking forward to bringing that through. It isn't that as up to now we have not been able to say what we wanted to say, for we have. Though there are some things that Lori dear is a little uncomfortable with, and she would rather not be so conscious in those moments. So this is just a way to help all of us in this. We would like to ask Lori dear in these moments how she is feeling about this process, so she can tell all of you how she is feeling. Okay. I'm feeling fine. I'm feeling a little bit strange, only because this is the topic of conversation, is kind of my process, so I'm feeling a little bit strange on that. I was really surprised when we started doing the last 2 weeks. We've been doing some like an hour a day meditation, kind of a lot of body sensations again, a lot of energy, and I was kind of surprised because I thought that, now that wasn't surprising, but the part that was surprising is that I thought I would be in some sort of different place, or like it would be very evident. What I can say is that the first, the first time that we actually, like we were practicing after some of the energy, and the first time I felt that, it was interesting because I did feel my consciousness kind of move back a little bit. And I've heard other channelers say it's like they're in the back seat, and that sounds strange in a way, like maybe that sounds funny or silly, but it is exactly the way it feels, because I'm still conscious, but I'm just like happy a little bit in the back seat, and I'm kind of looking around and I hear everything, but I'm not like wanting to like critically question things as much. I'm not wanting to, like, I'm not as concerned about grammar or the path of where things are going, something like that. I'm just much more like relaxed about it. So that's really the only difference I can say. It's not like I can't say something if I want to, because I can, and I can stop if I want to. So it's still very conscious. It's still very volunteer from my side. It's not like I can't do or say anything. It's just slightly more, I guess, relaxed state for me, which I notice from my perspective when I'm channeling, that I am channeling. For me, from my perspective, it's stronger. But I'm not sure if the viewers will even notice a difference. So,
yeah, I mean, I can say that when you first started today, I didn't realize that you had shifted into the trance meditation. I thought you were still just doing kind of maybe the quote-unquote usual conscious channeling. So I wasn't even aware if there was going to be, if you're starting conscious and then shifting into trance. Mm-hmm. But you've been essentially, this sort of trance or this backseat channeling this entire time so far.
Yeah, yeah. And for me, it's just a little bit easier. It's just a little bit, I guess they're just coming through a little bit stronger. It's not, it's subtle, but it's enough that I feel, I think less about myself, and I'm just kind of, or less about controlling the situation, or I'm just, not that I was trying to control it before, but I was actively having to work to not, and to not, like, to let it come through. It was like more work for me. And this is just a little less work, I guess. Maybe that's a good way to put it.
And you've been, like you said, doing more meditation for the past 2 weeks to kind of build you up to this different type of channeling.
Yeah.
But they kind of brought this up a while ago. And when they first brought it up, was that something that was exciting to you? Was it something that you were interested in, or did it freak you out?
Well, the funny thing, when I think about it now, because now that this is happening and it's just a subtle difference to me, I was more concerned, like I didn't know what it was. And so I would look at other trance channels and go like, oh, like it just seems so different than what I do. So to find out that it's not that different from what I'm doing in my particular channel, the way they've built mine, the way, it's kind of surprising. When they first told me a couple months ago, they kind of mentioned it and I thought they were joking. I was like, what? We're teaching about conscious channeling. Why would we do this? But then as we were starting to do the videos and we started to do the Earth Changes videos, and a couple times, particularly the last video, there were things that they wanted to say that I just was uncomfortable with, and so I just would stop. So then I was like, okay, so yeah, we needed to do something different, because I really want to be of service, and I want this information to come out. I really, really do. But there's a part of me that it's almost like I don't want to feel so like I was feeling so responsible in a way, if it makes any sense, because it feels like it was just like me, in a way. Even though I know, no, it's not me. It feels like that when you're channeling, if you can explain it that way. So. Yeah. This feels a little less like me, like I'm a little more aware that when I'm channeling, because of the strength of it, that I feel more confident. And I don't know, it's just a slight change that went on. I could just feel it in my consciousness that it went like, it's before, like I felt like it was me and this was them. It was the same with the conscious channeling. And then it just went like this. It was just subtle, but it was just enough to be like, like it just relaxed me a little bit. And I actually was nervous about doing it, and so I kind of blocked it for a couple weeks. Like I just wasn't, we would go to practice and I just was like, oh, I was nervous. And so they were like completely just like, it's fine. We know that in the end, this is all going to happen. They didn't want to push me at all, which is a good thing. And then a few things synchronistically came together and I was very excited about it. So in the end, and so we started practicing, and the energy, I felt like the energy was strong again. So I thought like something major was going to be different. And then it turns out that as we're practicing more, the energy just kind of went away. And so during the time it was being made, it was intense energy. But then it was like, as our last couple of days of practicing, it was just like, it all went away again. So again, meaning I'm not feeling all that heavy energy. Right. And I've asked them about that, because I don't mind the heavy energy, because it makes me feel like I'm experiencing something that isn't myself. But they have always told me that they want to make the channel very efficient and not use any excess energy for a number of reasons. But one of them is they don't want to tire me out, and so it's easier on me and my body. So, if that makes any sense. Yeah. And they can talk about this, but I think they're not completely done with creating the channel. So, I think in time it might slightly change, and it might slightly change from my perspective of what I experience. Yeah. But they say yeah, we'll have to see what they say, but that's what my thinking is. Okay, all right, so let's see what they want to talk about. Thank you, Laura dear. We are very thankful for your input, and we appreciate your honesty, your integrity, your authenticity. We are really hoping that our viewers understand that the reason we have chosen to deepen your conscious channel is simply because we have information we would like to get across. And this is the most efficient way to do this, in that we feel that you are an excellent channel, Laura dear, and we want to work through you. And this way we are all able to bring ourselves together in a deeper way, so that we could bring ourselves forth in a slightly subtly stronger way that is indeed helping. In regards to what Laura Deer was saying about finishing the channel and completing the trance channel, she is indeed right. We are working within a method that is mostly completed, though we have a few odds and ends we could say that we are still going to be finishing up and changing as we move on, though it helps very much to be experiencing this channel, to be working through it as we are finishing up what we need to finish up. And we would like to share with you, with Lori's permission, a request that she had in this process, as we feel that it's a delightful request. We're very thankful she asked it, but we also think it will be helpful for others to hear that when you are working with us on this side of things, you know, we're in a relationship together, and you may request things, and we may request things, and we can talk through things, and we can come to what we feel would be a good negotiation or an understanding. Not that it's like a hard negotiation by any means. It's just that we took time, and we have learned how to work with Lori Deer, in that we know that we always need to come forward with her with anything we are looking to do or anything we are looking to change. We have learned from experience that it is most beneficial if we talk to her about those things beforehand. And this might not be for others. For others, it may be helpful to just try something and see how that happens. But with Lori, we know that we need to ask beforehand and discuss and negotiate. So we would like to say that there is an aspect, and we would first like to ask Lori if it's okay if we do talk about this, and yes, it's fine. Okay, so there is an aspect to her channel that she asked for, and we would like to just share what that is, and that piece of the channel is still very much in development. It is an experiment that we are, again, working to create together, and in time that will come together. What it is she asked for a what we call an energy chamber, so that when she is working in a deeper way, in a trance way with us, that she can go to a place and learn things. And so she wanted to be learning something rather than just being used as a tool, as a conduit. She also wanted to be learning something. So we are in the beginning stages of creating this energy chamber, and it will just be a place where she can come and learn. She will be learning either with myself, Xanadu, while we're also channeling, because we can do that. Or she'll be working with Melchizedek, and she's very excited about both those options. We say this as, again, we want you to understand that, all of you that are listening, that we are not gods. We are just like you. We are evolving. We are learning. We are growing. We are experimenting. We are enjoying. We want to say playing together. We are enjoying coming together and working and discovering and creating. And this is something that we are doing together. Lucas and Lori and us on this side of things, we are all doing this together. It is extremely important for us that we see Lori as a sovereign being, and we indeed listen to her, and we listen to what she has to say and what she thinks. And we relate to her in her conscious state, and we relate to her in her more subconscious state, in her dream state, you could say. We value her input. We value Lucas's input. This is something we are all doing together. This is not a manipulation in any way. It is a team coming together in order to co-create a mission that we have decided upon long ago, and now it is coming to fruition. So we are very thankful for these moments together. We are very thankful to be in this position where we are all here together, working together. We just want to be very clear that we are in a place of mutual respect, and we are in a place where we are all mutually evolving and learning and growing, and loving. We are learning all the time how to better love ourselves, how to better love each other. So today was simply a means of introducing the idea to you that we have gone further into this channeling process with Lori. Now, we would like also to state that when we are teaching and hoping to bring to all of humanity those who are interested in channeling with us or telepathically speaking with us, that we are not changing that original channel that we developed. That is still the channel that we would like to work with you in. The difference is just with Lori Deer, when she is doing this publicly and she was having a difficult time in getting some information across, could we say, we decided to go a little further with her. We are not expecting for those of you to have to go further into a deeper state than the conscious channeling. We want you to understand that our purpose in communicating with you with the conscious channeling is to have a conversation with you, a relationship with you, where we can connect anytime you would like to. We feel that this manner of conscious channeling can be simply telepathically communicating to us, and in that way just assisting you in any way that you need, giving you what we can of whatever questions you have or whatever assistance you may need or whatever support you may need. And then the other idea is you could also telepathically work with us as well as channel with us if you'd like to do that, though we'd like to be really clear that we would remain within the conscious channeling, as we do not feel that there would be any need to go further than that. That will suit most people very, very well. At this point, we know that Lucas had a few questions that came as coming from some of our viewers, and we would like to address them.
Okay, the questions for today's video were from the website in the past couple of weeks, so I just got a couple for today. The first question says, "Hello, I am following your channel and do have a question. What does Xanadu and the collective think about the use of crystals in opening up the channel lines? Would it be helpful to use or hold one or more of them when relaxing, or is this not necessary?"
Yes, thank you for your question. We feel that the additional use of crystals is not necessary, though it will never be harmful and in fact could be very positive, especially if those of you who would like to use crystals and are happy to do so, and it raises your frequency and it allows you to come into a higher state, is a good thing. So for those that are not used to working with crystals, you do not need to worry about it. It is not something that's necessary. For those of you that would like to work with crystals, great, great. Bring all that with you into whatever way you'd like to, and that will only that will only be beneficial to your experience.
All right, one more question. This question is more for Lori. It says, "What makes you so certain that who you're channeling is who in fact they say they are?"
Okay, question for me. Okay, I'm not sure if the viewer meant, because I'm seeing that in two different ways. So if it's meant to be like, if they are Xanadu, the Council of Light, the Pleiadians, Council of Nine, Arcturians, if that is what the question is, like, are they wondering how would I know if that is who they are?
Sure.
Okay, so I'll answer that, and I'll answer the other thing. Okay, so what I'm thinking, it could be two different ways. So I did not know who exactly they were until they started talking to me this last spring, right? April.
Yeah.
And since then, I'm able to feel and discern their energies from each other, the different collectives I can, because sometimes they talk to me just
individually. Yeah.
Though if they would have told me on April 6th when I started channeling, you know, how would I know it was them? I would not know it was them, right?
Mm-hmm.
I did grow up with what they have told me since that time when I started channeling is that they were not all with me, but there were 3 of them with me since birth. Actually, since before, you know, friends of mine from that side. So we all came together and they had been with me similar to a guide. So 3. And then this last, actually be almost a year, starting in October when I started meditating and all the energy work,
Right.
that is when all the collectives started working with me. Now, the other way this question could be is, how do I know I don't know if it's maybe how do I know who they're saying they are? Like, how do I know that maybe they're good or they're they're loving or they're of a higher frequency? And that I do know. Just how it feels in my body, in my solar plexus, in my heart, even in my head. That's an experience that I think can be very clear if it's an energy that is not only a high frequency of loving frequency, but also a good fit or a good how do I want to say that? Like all of their energy when I have been relating to them has always felt like I somehow know them, but I don't know them. Do you know what I mean? Like
Sure.
they're familiar in a good way. So if that was not the case, if it was something where I questioned who they were or I questioned what was happening, you know, it would be very quick. I found that, and this may be way too long of a thing, but I found that it is pretty easy to discern the energies as far as if it's something that is something that you want or don't want or may question. I mean, this may be totally off topic, but this happened recently. It ties into what they said today about how they're learning and working with me. They need to, instead of making a change and then talking to me about it, they have learned that it doesn't go over well with me because I like to know what's happening and then, you know, to discuss it. And then, because about a couple months ago, they, and after we discussed it, I understood it was a very good thing. They wanted me to experience more of the energy because there are a lot of beings that are in these collectives, and they wanted me to expand, how they said it, to expand my experience with them. Mm-hmm. And without letting me know beforehand, we started channeling, just practice channeling, and it was completely different. And I was just like, immediately just like, whoa. And I was very suspicious. And I was very just like, I was listening and just being so like, what's going on here? And then actually then said, wait a second, who is this? I'm not gonna be manipulated. You know, it's just like, what is going on? And it's interesting that it surprised me that it was so easily discernible that it was something different. And it wasn't something bad, but it was different, and I didn't know, and I didn't understand what was happening. And so then they explained to me that it was somebody else that was acting as a spokesperson rather than Xanadu. And so it was just like a different energy. It was a different vocabulary, slightly different vocabulary, slightly different cadence, different way of talking. And I didn't like it, not because it was new, but because I didn't know it was coming. And so I was like, what's happening? Like, what's going on? So anyways, the point is it's not hard, I think, to, when you are, let's say, for example, if you're practicing to meditate and you're listening, it's not hard to discern energies. And in that learning process can happen very fast. And especially when we're tapping into the larger part of us, because the larger part of us, that soulful part of us, knows so much more that, when we start tapping into that, then it's really easy. So I answered that for what? A long time. It was a long answer, and I hope that was helpful, but I didn't know exactly what that meant by that question, so I was answering it. I'm starting to be able to tell, I can tell the difference between the different collectives now.
Yeah.
But that, it's still, yeah. The only thing I can really tell you is if they're of a high loving frequency. I can tell you that is easy to discern. They are very clear and very articulate in every way, and they have never tried to manipulate or disrespect, and they're very just extremely loving. And so if that ever didn't happen, then it would just be like breaks instantly, because a few times that has happened for me, but I misunderstood something, and then we had to talk through it, and I was like, oh, okay. But at first it was like it's just like an internal thing, because you're using that part of you that's already really in tune, and then all of a sudden if something's not, you're just like, I just like put the brakes on. I think that would be the case for most people who are meditating and who are connecting to themselves and connecting to that calm, peaceful part of themselves that knows.
Yeah.
I think it's going to be really evident. I don't think there's a worry. This is my perspective. Thank you, Laura dear, for answering that question from that particular viewer. We know that was a bit of a long answer, though we feel like that information will be helpful in other ways and in many ways to that viewer and potentially other viewers. So we thank you for your openness and your honesty and your clarity. Then we would like to end this transmission in much love and much light. We are very thankful to be here and look forward to seeing you all again in our next video. In love and light, the Arcturians, the Pleiadians, the Council of Nine, the Council of Light, and Xanadu. Adieu and adieu. All right.
Very good, babes.
All right. It's getting dark. I wonder how it's going to go. All right.